Los Cabos Drumsticks present
Quarter notes.
All right.
All right. Okay, let's start the podcast.
Okay, let's do it.
Welcome to the Los Cabos Drumsticks Presents Quarter Notes podcast. Myself,
Yes,
Rich.
Knox, and this is Dre, and you're
Welcome,
you,
Dre.
and you're
Welcome,
listening
Dre.
or watching.
I'm excited for this this podcast. We are interviewing, hanging out with a drummer that I got to tour with.
Ooh.
Yeah. So a little bit of history. A little bit of history.
Cool.
A little behind the scenes. We actually know each other, kind of thing. So that's cool.
I'm meeting this person for the first time. I still don't even know who it is.
Well, I'll tell you who it is. Let's just go for it.
Let's get into it. Come on, let's go.
Okay. Our guest is a Canadian metal drummer based in Montreal, Quebec, originally from Vancouver. She's currently drumming for the Michigan-based metalcore rock band Conquer Divide, has played with the Anti-Queens, where we met. We did a tour together in Ontario, Dead Asylum, and has toured as session drummer with Nervosa, and I really hope I say this right, Intotile. Fuck. Let's go back. Well,
This isn't getting
out.
edited out. No, this is not getting edited.
Okay,
Intro-till.
Intro-till.
It's
There we go.
close.
I didn't look. I didn't look, and I jumped and I fell. Anyway, she's toured all over the world. She's the editor of Drumeo's online magazine, The Beat. She's also a judge for the hit Like a Girl contest, an international competition that promotes women and girls who drum, and a whole lot more. Please welcome to the podcast, Samantha Landa.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, Samantha.
Good to see you.
Do you prefer Samantha or Sam?
I prefer Sam. If
All
you
right.
call me Samantha, it's like I'm in trouble and it's my mom.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
My bad.
Henceforth known as Sam.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm good. I'm not gonna get mad. It's
All right.
Awesome. So yeah, welcome to the podcast. Super stoked to have you on the podcast. I know Rich reached out, and when he mentioned that you were interested, I was super pumped. I've been following you on Instagram for a while, and lots of really awesome content, which we'll probably get into, and then the whole Drumeo thing. So yeah, it's really cool that you came on.
yeah, I really appreciate it. I love chatting with other drummers. It's just who I want to surround myself with pretty much. And then getting a chance to tour alongside Rich and Danko, and that was an awesome experience. And you know, obviously I'm here as well as a Los Cabos artist, just wonderful people, great company, great products. And yeah, so I love what you guys are doing with the podcast, and I'm really excited to be part of it.
Cool.
Thanks very much. Okay. I got a question for you right off the bat. So we toured together like mid-pandemic, and it was like there was this little window where people were, it was like opening up and we could do shows again. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, our tour got cut one show short because COVID reared its head and caught up. And I think even maybe some people got sick in the band.
That was
you got
yes,
sick.
I got COVID because of that tour, and two of us did. So Emily, also from the Anti-Queens, and I both got COVID from that tour, and that was the first time either of us had COVID, and no one else in the band got it. It was just the two of us. Somehow we were all traveling together and whatever, and the two of us got sick. Really, I mean, we were okay, but we were pretty sick for about a week. So I hope that we didn't give it to anyone else. I hope that you guys were okay.
I don't think anybody in our camp got it. So that was pretty lucky.
Good.
Yeah, that was pretty lucky. But that was aside from that, it was a great run. It was great to play like shows again. And then
you made it sound like that was it. It was all done from there. It was a good run.
Yeah, if we call it a career after that. No. After that, it wasn't that long before you joined. Like that, we said goodbye. You got COVID, and then next thing I knew, you're playing in Conquer Divide. Can you tell us a bit about how that came to be?
Yeah, so I actually got involved with Conquer Divide around the same time that I was involved with the Anti-Queens, and so I mean the difference was Conquer Divide was just kind of waiting to play any shows after it had come out of a hiatus. So the band's been around for about 10 years now, and I got involved in early 2020, which is also when I started playing with the Anti-Queens. That band has an interesting story in terms of how I got involved, because when it was first forming in like the very, very early stages of Kristen, who's the rhythm guitarist and songwriter, she was basically assembling this band and looking for people. And I was originally talking to her and trading ideas back and forth and having me as the original drummer. And at the time I had just started my first, I guess, real job working in public relations, and they were really wanting to do the thing and make this their career, and it just didn't work out timing wise. I knew I wasn't going to be able to be away regularly, and I had just started this job, and so we kind of said, okay, I guess it's not going to work out. And so they went with a different drummer, and I had to kind of like step back for a couple of years, because every time I saw, you know, oh, this band's doing like blowing up and doing all this cool stuff and these big tours, and people would send me links like, oh, it's an all-girl band and they're doing heavy music, and I was just like, oh, like it's the one that got away. And I always just really wanted to be part of it. And so at the end of 2019, Kristen came to me and said, hey, we've been on a bit of a hiatus for a couple of years, but we're coming back and we don't have a drummer anymore. Would you be interested in being involved? Immediately, I'm like, oh, yes, 100%, absolutely. So that's when I started doing things with Conquer Divide. And then it was only like 2 or 3 months later that I was approached by the Anti-Queens to join. So it's where I was at the time like, oh, am I going to have time like to do multiple bands? Because I still technically had Dead Asylum in Vancouver, and I had flown out there in, I guess, 2017. We had done a Western Canadian tour, and then we did some touring out east, but I knew we weren't as busy. So anyway, that's essentially how I kind of got to where I was at the point that we met.
Nice.
So you were both a founding member and the second drummer of Conquer Divide.
I mean, I definitely couldn't say I'm a founding member, but when you put it that way, it sounds awesome. But no, because it was more of like an earlier iteration, so it had a different name. Right. There were a couple of member differences, but it was a similar sort of some similar sort of vibe, but it's just a little bit different. So I couldn't say that. I wouldn't claim that.
No. You didn't say it, I did. So but you guys have been building up quite a bit of momentum. Like I know just a couple months ago, or maybe just weeks ago, I'm still COVID brain timeline thing. But you guys did a session at Sirius XM Studios.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you guys book that? And like, or not how'd you book it, but like what was that whole experience like?
Yeah, so I should clarify too, we weren't able to go out to their actual studio, so we did it remotely. So we did it at Pearl Sound. I always forget what city it's in. Anyway, it's Chuck Ocasey, he's very close to he's close to Detroit. So he's awesome, and the studio's great. So we did it there. But Octane, like Sirius XM Octane, has been such big supporters of Conquer Divide kind of since the comeback. They've been playing our stuff. They've been super supportive. They invited us to do this Octane Accelerator concert. Right now they're playing Welcome to Paradise. We just added, we're just really, really grateful for all of their support, and they're awesome, and did an interview with them not too long ago about like before we played Welcome to Rockville, and we talked about the Accelerator concert. So yeah, I mean, what's interesting is, so one of their hosts, Katie, we've known each other since we were teens in Vancouver. So we're both from Vancouver. She lives in California now. She's one of the primary hosts on Octane.
I hear her every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've known Katie for years, and so that's just kind of a cool kind of crossover point. And you know, as Canadians, it's a small world, it's a small country, so we all kind of, everyone knows someone. So that's been awesome. Katie's been great and really supportive as well. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Welcome to Rockville. That looked awesome.
So fun. One might say it rocked.
Nice. It rocked the Ville.
It rocked the Ville. It was great, and we got to play 2 sets. So we played during the pre-party for like the campers, and there might have even been more people at the pre-party. Like we had no idea how big the pre-party is. It's awesome. It's really, really awesome. And then we had a set as well on Thursday during the day. That went great. It was really muggy. It was hot. And there kept being threats of thunder showers, and so they kept saying, oh, it's a code red, we need to like, everyone gets undercover and off stages for a while, but they still managed to get everything running honestly pretty seamlessly. So it was great, and the people were great, and the reception was awesome.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was looking at your upcoming tour schedule.
I was just gonna go for it.
You were just gonna say that?
Yeah, again, same brain. Go ahead.
What?
What?
All right, I'll take
way.
it. I'll take it. You guys like, I'm envious. You guys play in the States so much. Is that like where you play the most, would you say, is in America?
This band has never played outside of the US.
Oh wow.
So
okay. Well, yes. The answer is yes.
Yes. It's playing its first shows. Its first international shows will be in Toronto and Montreal in September with Electric Callboy. So now we're just making sure everyone's got everything they need for border crossing and all that stuff. But yeah, they've never played as a band outside of the US. And I find that a lot of tours kind of in the scene that the band's been involved in, a lot of them it's very American. It's all American bands playing in the US, and a lot of them primarily play in the US.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's got to be nice to like go down to like warmer places and play them in the wintertime.
That part's nice.
Not have a 13-hour flight.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. We really want to play Europe as well. So we're just trying to work on building. We want to build a fan base, more of a fan base in Europe, especially after we released a single and a music video with Electric Callboy, and they're based in Germany. So now we've got this solid German fan base as well, and they're all asking us to come to Germany. So hopefully we can come out there and play some Europe shows. And then what was the other thing we were talking about with American tours? Oh, the visas. That's the one downside, is just being a Canadian musician and the process of getting visas for the US. That's just it's just getting more and more expensive as the years go by, and more unaffordable. And this is where I'm going to say, I think they should have a distinction between more like a, certain like different tiers of this type of visa, where, what Celine Dion pays what we pay, presumably, or if we were to get the same kind of visa, it would be the same. So, for someone like that, they can afford it. For someone like us, it's quite expensive.
An entertainer's visa kind of thing. Like how long is the visa good for? Like when you leave, is it like just a few months and then you have to like go through the whole process again to renew it, or?
So it depends on what visa you get. Up to this point, I've always gotten the P2 visa. And so it's basically what they call a cultural exchange visa. And so it's as good as long as your tour lasts. So if you want to extend it beyond, say, a single festival or a single show or a single tour, you have to have a certain number of what they call like engagements in the United States. I can't remember if it's like a maximum of like 40 days apart or something. So you have to show evidence of regular working activity in the United States, and then you're able to have it for, the time period needed to cover, say, a tour, a couple of one-off shows, maybe another tour. So you're able to, if you need to, but you do need to have like regular activity.
Right. Okay.
Right on.
Just for myself and for anyone else that it might be looking at, crossing the border for the first time and want to know how to kind of navigate those waters.
I would love to add one disclaimer too, is that if you're going to be doing it, if you're going to be crossing the border as a Canadian, just do it the right way, do it the legal way, because if you don't have a visa and they find out you're playing paid gigs and festivals and touring, they can ban you, I think, for like 5 years, is what I've heard of before, is where, so I just want to say and emphasize, get the visa, do it the right way. It sucks. I hate that we have to do it, but it's not worth going around it, because it's just, you're putting your entire band at risk if,
if you're like the one band member that doesn't do it, and then, the band wants to go back and you're holding them back, then you might find yourself without a band.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Canadian band and you're looking to tour in the US, you'll get like one visa that covers all the band members, and then each band member will need to submit like a scan of their passport, and fill out like an individual page, but you'll submit it as a band package. So for Conquer Divide, I'm the only Canadian, so I'm the only one that has to, you know, complete a visa application, and I could still get denied. I've never been denied a work visa, but you know, it's just, you just never know. So it's always a nail biter waiting for approval to come in. And my visa approval came in like days before we were going to play Welcome to Rockville. We had a fill-in drummer hired and all this stuff, and he was rehearsing, and you know, bless him. We appreciate him very much. But yeah, my visa got approved like, yeah, right
Just
before
the 11th hour. Yeah.
Thanks for learning those tunes, and bye.
Yeah,
Hey, I've had that happen before. That
yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but at the same time,
No, I'm
you know,
just
you
kidding.
you want to be able to do that so that if you need that, someone else will do it for you, you know. And
100%.
as a drumming community, that's kind of what we do, right?
Yeah. And he was really, really nice about it. And he was very supportive. He's like, I'm so glad that you get to do it, and I'm so happy for you. And I really felt like it, you know, he was just genuinely really great. So, you know, for if I need a fill in at some point in the future, you know, we know who to call.
There you go. I had the same experience when I was joining Danko. So I like never played a show with them. So I didn't really feel like I was part of the band. Like, sure, I was like in the band, but not really in the band. And same thing, like this, we were touring the States, and we haven't really done too much in the States, but this was like a month and maybe like 6 weeks, touring around. And anyway, yeah, like the same deal. Visa would not come through. It kept like getting delayed. And like the shows were coming up. I'm like, I'm not even gonna be in this band. I'm like gonna lose this opportunity because of this stupid visa. And then like I missed a couple shows. So the previous drummer was like just stayed on for a couple shows, which was nice. And yeah, anyway, I finally got around into it. But yeah, they're always, and I think to add to your point, I think aside from the band, I think like that's something that can always be on your record when you like, so every time they pull your name up and you go in, it's like, oh, here's this liar coming in here. Let's make sure that pull them aside and make sure they're not lying about anything else.
Right. Yeah, I had gone down once for a music video, and they'd pull me aside, and because they didn't believe that I was just doing a music video and I wasn't being paid, and I was just doing this, like, why would you, they're like, she's like, why would you do this for free? I'm like, A, I'm crazy. B, I said I have a full-time job. She's like, what do you do? I told her, and yeah. But anyway, so I got pulled aside, and I'm like, oh my God, are they really not going to let me in just for like, because a music video? I'm like, I'm flying myself down. Like, no one is paying for any of this, and this is just me going down. I'm going to be in the video, and like that's literally all I'm doing. And I had plenty of proof that that's what I was doing. But anyway, so then I spoke to another agent who I think has dealt with a lot more musicians, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, he can see my record of visas, and he's like, oh, I can see that you've done this, you know, you've had these visas in the past. I'm like, I do it right, like, yeah. But you know, it's just it's so scary when you're like, you feel like you've just done something wrong, and you're like, I know I'm not doing anything wrong, but
yeah. I mean, that's no different than going down for like a vacation trip or anything. You just happen to be on a video shoot while you're there, like, you know.
For me, it's like going to the liquor store and like I gotta pay, and it's like still like underage me is still like, and like I'm just like so nervous, like I could ask for my ID.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I haven't had that problem in a long time.
The beard probably helps. I think
probably
the beard,
helps.
They're like, he can grow a full beard. We know he's,
but
he's legal.
Have you seen like high school kids now? Like they've got bigger
These
beards.
Kids are hairy,
right? They really are.
To be honest, it honestly hasn't happened to me in a long time either. But I still get nervous. Like I can't look the person in the eye. But anyway, it's even like I know exactly what you're saying though. Like going to the border guard, like it's like I totally agree. Like you've done nothing wrong, but like it's like you have my life in your hands right now.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, you hear about so many horror stories of people getting pulled aside for no reason at all, and they get detained, and they're there for like, you know, they miss their flight, or the, you know, the whole thing gets canceled just over something stupid, like, you know, having a bottle of water in their bag or something. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I did miss my flight because of that music video story, but so did like 40 people. So
yeah,
because the lines were crazy long.
That's
Oh, I
But
bet.
amazing.
Yeah.
I was still not happy. I
Right.
got there 11 hours late.
Yeah.
And on that
Yikes.
note, let's get to our first drummer pick.
All right.
All right.
Hey.
Who wants to go first? Dre, you brought us here, so you take us. Are you ready? I'll go
Yeah.
first. Are you ready?
No,
I'll go.
I'm fine. I'll go.
All right.
It's fine. I'll go first.
All right. So we kind of have a loose theme.
Loose.
Hard music, let's say. Could be
Metal.
metal adjacent.
Guys that play, or girls, or drummers that play heavily.
I like that.
Heavily.
Okay.
Influenced heavily. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna go like when I was a kid growing up. I have an older brother who listened to all the 80s metal, right? Like, the Motley Crue and the Ozzy Osbourne. I guess I'll just come right out and say it. Ozzy Osbourne Tribute, the live album that was recorded with Randy Rhoads. The drummer on that was Tommy Aldridge.
Mhm.
So growing up, that record was always in my ear. So yeah, that, especially that live album, just because his energy on that, like, because he didn't play on the first couple studio albums. So the energy he brought to the live show and the interpretations that he did, I mean, still to this day are, the versions of songs that people should listen to. And funny enough, I was listening to that album when I was traveling on a gig. We were traveling up, it wasn't very far away, but we're driving on the highway. That album was playing, and before I know it, I look at the speedometer, and I'm going like 140 on the highway, and sure enough, good old RCMP officers coming the opposite way. So immediately in the rear view, the lights flash on, turns around. Anyway, he saw that we were playing in a band, and he told me to slow down, and I didn't get a ticket, which
Said
was
Tommy
know,
Aldridge. Tommy
because
Aldridge, am I
I said,
right?
dude,
Tommy to thank.
I said, listen, man, I was listening to Tommy, and he was like, dude,
Respect.
what a guy,
He's like, Tommy
right?
gets me revved up too.
Right? He's like, that's how I caught up to you.
Nice.
And Tommy is still like the amount of energy that guy has, and he's in his like early 70s, I think.
72 years old.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw something he did. I think it was for Drumeo recently.
Yes.
And I was like, wow.
Breaking down
more
tracks and
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was like, oh man, I wish I had that stamina and power.
that's the benchmark. That's like the goal, to still be doing it at that age.
Oh man.
And the way he's doing it, like, just nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. Anyway, that was my first pick.
All right, well, I'll go next because speaking of Ozzy, I was which is why I went, when you said that those are the versions that should be listened to, because my first pick was Bill Ward.
Oh,
Coming from my like kind of jazzy background, when I first listened to Sabbath, and I just could hear like, wow, this guy's like, I mean, it's like definitely playing heavy, but there's like a certain finesse and a I don't know, something jazzy about what's going on there for me at first listen. And so, I mean, that's my pick. I don't got to say much more, but
you really don't, because he was one of my other picks. So now I got to pivot.
Well, luckily for both of you, I don't have another Aussie drummer on my list.
Sweet.
I will preface this by saying I love to bring up drummers who I think are underrated. So, because I had so much, I was telling you guys earlier, I was really struggling to just come up with drummers because I work for Drumeo. I'm exposed to drummers all day, all long, all the time. And I'm just always watching drummers on like social media and whatever. So I really wanted to bring up or start with one drummer who I think is highly underrated, and that is Craig Reynolds. He plays for a hardcore band called Stray from the Path. First of all, I think I first heard about him because of his Twitter, because I started getting more on Twitter, and this guy is just hilarious and very dry and I don't know, it's just my kind of humor. And I was like, okay, who's this guy? I gotta check him out and check out his band. And then he was on Seth Meyers as well recently. And that was really sick. But he's got a bunch of playthroughs and things online. And I was hoping to catch him at Rockville. Unfortunately, Straight from the Path had to pull out very last minute. But so I've never seen him live. But yeah, I feel like, especially in hardcore music, you could just play really straightforward stuff, but he doesn't. Like, he's such a tasty drummer. He's very creative. He comes up with these cool kind of like interesting like tom licks. I don't know. It's hard to explain without showing you, but so I won't say too much on that, but I highly recommend checking out Craig if you are not familiar with his drumming.
Yeah. I was gonna say you could just you have a drum kit there, right? Just hop on the kit and show us. Like
easy. Yeah, I have guitars more accessible and they aren't even mine. My drums are not here. They're Greg's, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I will check him out.
Yeah, definitely checking him out. For sure.
We went back and forth, Sam and I, about us trying to learn Destroy Everything by Hatebreed, and I'm still working on it. I kind of like, to be honest, I haven't been a great student of the double bass drum, but yeah.
It's
Sam,
commitment.
I don't remember the last time I even touched a double bass drum.
Well, I had it like,
you.
I figured like I want to learn this, and so I messaged Sam and she gave me some tips, and then
which is crazy because a buddy of mine, that I grew up with, it's from the same city I am in Mirror Machine, New Brunswick. You probably know him, Sam, is Mike Machine.
Oh,
and he's the fastest double bass drum pedal player in the world.
Oh yeah. And I met Mike in Vancouver.
Yeah. Yeah, and he went that way and I literally went the complete opposite, like full on like single pedal,
So your powers combined. Unstoppable.
Right. No, he's way better than I am.
Three pedals.
3 pedals.
The triple pedal.
The triple pedal, yeah.
Jonathan Moffat does it.
Yeah, that Eloy, not Eloy, what's his name? He just did a thing on Drumeo.
Eloy Casagrande?
Yeah, no.
El Estepario?
That's the one. On his Instagram, he had that triple pedal.
Oh yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. I'd be curious to try that. He's nuts. He is. And you read, it's like you'll read comment sections on like drummers' videos, and it's almost impossible to find a drummer that has no negative comments. Like everyone, even the best drummers in the world, objectively, technically incredible, they'll still have haters. I swear, you can go through all his comments, and everyone's like, I give up. Like, this guy is like next level. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a hate comment on Estepario's content.
No, I have. Cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I haven't seen any, and I think it's because he seems like a super nice guy. He's clearly worked on the craft to the point where he's on like a master level. Like, he's like a high wizard, druid, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like, so
he's like a level 490,
right?
Wizard.
He's gone Super Saiyan. Like,
yes.
Go ahead.
I was gonna make a Dragon Ball Z reference, but
well, by all means.
No. The moment's over. It's gone.
Yeah. Well. All right.
Ruined it. Okay.
So go ahead.
I don't know that much about Dragon Ball Z, except that I remember watching it as a kid, and just like you could, like, it's kind of a brilliant genre of cartoon or animation, just because you can really drag an episode out, because it's just like
and then
for like 10 minutes. So I don't know, that's like my takeaway from that show is like, wow, these guys are really getting like
like one battle or one fight literally lasts.
Yeah, it's like
10 episodes.
I really want to know what happens, because these guys are ready.
Well, it's no different than a soap opera.
Yeah, that's true. I want to see El Estepario. I'm trying to think, who would he? Okay, first of all, who would you want to see El Estepario battle in like a drum off? And
Eloy.
How do we? Okay, him and Eloy in a drum off where it's like and it's like edited very just animated.
You got to make Drumeo make that happen.
We do need to have some sort of like real drum battle. I don't mean like, oh, it's 2 drummers on drum kits, and no. like way more intense, way more animation.
And I think those are the guys to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it'd be just coming off the top of my head, guys. Drummer Survivor.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do. I don't even know if it's like some of it's drumming related, some of it might be like drummer adjacent related. I don't know how, but like, and then I don't know. Some people just get, I don't know. The guy in the khakis tells you you're gone, and you're
Yeah. What would the you know, they have like the immunity thing. Immunity.
Oh yeah, like when he puts the flame out, like when they leave.
Or you're
It's
talking
like a
about some
little
kind of,
like a tiki. It's like a little statue, and you get like you have it when you have immunity. I don't know. I haven't watched it since I
you
was
win the
like,
challenge. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So like that would be, I don't know, the head of your, I don't know, some historical drummer.
Wear
I
like
don't know.
you get to wear like a splash symbol necklace.
Yeah, and then they remove it, and they're like, "I'm sorry, I need to remove the splash," and you're like, "No,
Yeah.
And it's like all like drama.
Yeah. Wah, 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 wah,
Right.
bing.
A gong.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
definitely be a
The gong at
be
the
in
end.
this. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Can I take us back to something you mentioned earlier? So the band lives in different places in
Yeah. So
Okay.
the band is headquartered in Greater Detroit. So we all go there. We always meet up there before like a tour or whatever. So the two guitarists live just outside Detroit, and then one is in Austin and one is in Boulder.
Cool. Nice. I
Wow.
want to go to Boulder.
Yeah.
But
Boulder,
that
Colorado.
wasn't yeah.
Wow.
That wasn't but I was gonna say, like, so you mentioned you like also work outside of drumming, and yeah, so you're able to work remotely.
Yep.
Before we get into that, I want to know, do you do remote stuff with the band ever? Like, is there any kind of like if there's like writing going on or anything like that, do you ever do that?
Yeah. So for the new album, for example, I would, you know, they would kind of give me, I would say that the guitarists usually are working on the song, and it has a pretty defined structure by the time the rest of us are kind of involved. And you know, if they're working with a co-writer or a producer on it or whatever, and then when it would come to me, and then I could say, well, I think this could use this drum part here, or I would change that, or like, could we do this? Or I remember that there was I think it was when Welcome to Paradise was first being written, and I remember getting some videos uh, of like the guitar part of the song and saying, does this make sense rhythmically? Would you be able to play this? And then I think it changed a little bit since that initial video, but yeah, so usually what I'll end up doing is I will, for ideas, sending back ideas and writing, I'll usually record something in MIDI, like on the electronic kit, and then I'll send that over like in context so that they can hear what it would sound like with that drum part.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did sounds similar to how we did our last record. The guys would just I get like pretty flushed out ideas, and then kind of get to add my parts on, and a little bit of back and forth. And
Yeah.
What a world.
This band's always been used to collaborating remotely. I think there was maybe at some point they all lived together. This is before I was in the band, but yeah, the band's kind of built on that concept that we're bringing together people from different places, and we all just have to trust that each member is doing their part, and they're working on things, they're writing, they're practicing, and we're all communicating, and it seems to work really well.
That's awesome.
Gotta love the age of technology.
Oh yeah. And like, imagine, I don't know, 20 years ago we couldn't do this, and now you can have a band around the world and make it work, and you can tour together and you can write together. Like, it's really the technology has brought us so far with music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really has. Yeah, JC lives in Finland now.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And Danko's still in Toronto, and then I'm in little old PEI. So we're doing it.
You know so you know well, you know just as well as I do.
Yeah.
We do whatever we can to make it work. And imagine if we didn't have that technology during the pandemic, and you know, people were able to write music together during the pandemic, even when they couldn't be together. So and we were able to share that music online, and I think that's just I'm very grateful. That's one of the things I'm grateful for, kind of coming out of that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were lights, you know, there was dark times, but there were light. There was a few
Oh,
lights
for
in
sure.
the dark too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music always helps people through any of the dark times.
Keeping on with the remote work though, can you talk a bit about that? Like, last we were chatting, you were doing like, you have a marketing business? Marketing?
I work full-time for Drumeo.
It's full time. Okay.
Yeah, so before I was with Drumeo, I did have my own, I would say, like writing content micro agency, whatever you would call it. Like I had a team of writers that would work with me, and I had a number of clients. So I've been with Drumeo full-time since 2019. So it's been awesome because I've been remote the whole time. So I mean, I live across the country from Drumeo. Drumeo is based in BC near Vancouver. And anytime I'm in town or I'm nearby, I try and come and visit the office, and I come to the studio and, you know, try and spend a day or two working with everyone. Just, I do, you know, I appreciate being there, like, you know, with your coworkers, and I feel like I just get, you know, we just make so much happen when we're all together. But yeah, it's 100% remote for me, and I'm able to work while I'm on tour, or I work from home. I've come out a couple times. Like I fly out for the Drumeo Awards every year, and yeah, it's worked great. And I think I don't know if this might be wrong, but I think it might be as many as 50% of the Drumeo team or Musora team, that's the kind of umbrella company, might be remote now. I'm not 100% sure on that number.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, I mean, if you're able to maintain your level of creativity and your quality of work, being able to do it remotely from home, especially, you know, where like you're writing articles or you're coming up with lesson plans and stuff like that, without having to be physically in the studio to do the recording or the drumming parts, like why would you have to go into an office?
Right.
Or, you know, that kind of an environment? Like,
yeah. And I've worked a corporate job before where I had to go to the office, and, you know, that was my first job. And I like it sometimes. I'm a very social person. I like to be with people, and I love the camaraderie, and I love just there's like a buzz when people are getting excited about things and we're working together. But there's just so much I appreciate about working remotely. And one of those things is flexibility. It's so much easier to say, oh, I've got to, I don't know, roll out for, like, to run an errand, like go to a, you know, doctor's appointment or something like that. I find it so much easier because I can really plan my schedule around it. So I make sure, you know, I've got my meetings here and there. It's so much easier for me to, you know, you don't have commute time. You can literally roll out of bed and start working if you want.
Yep.
You can work in your PJs. I'm not saying I do, because I like to feel like I'm more productive when I'm, you know, ready for the day.
They say like, and because like coming through the pandemic, a lot of the office work, you know, from home, that you really have to separate your work from your home. Like get up, get dressed, treat it as if you are going to work, and have a designated spot that you're working, so that when you're done for the day, you can step away from it, and then you don't feel like you're at work 24/7. Because that's what a lot of people had, you know, big part of the whole mental health thing that was coming through the pandemic was the anxieties from always feeling like they were working and always being on, you know, to have that. So you really need to have that distinction between work time and home time. So when you're on the road, say on tour, you're able to take your work with you, right? So how does that balance? You know, being home, you don't have to worry about the show or the sound check rehearsals and stuff like that. So how is that when you're on the road, like that balance of the work tour life?
Yeah, so I typically will work every day instead of like Monday to Friday. So I might do fewer hours per day, but I also am working on 2 extra days. So it's like 5 hours a day instead of 7. So I'll do 5 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so that cuts that down. And then usually most of our drives are usually somewhere between 4 and 7+ hours anyway. So I do all my work pretty much when we're driving. There's been the odd time where you know, it was a shorter drive. We had an early sound check, so I might need to take a break, sound check, and then go back, and then get a bit of work done. But for the most part, it's just while we're driving, and I'm not one of the drivers, so I'm able to do that.
Nice.
So do you have a tour bus? Like, or are you guys doing like the vans and the U-Hauls?
We do the van. We have our own trailer And the van belongs to the van as well. We're hoping to upgrade to like a minibus, like those like kind of airport shuttle style buses. We've just decided that, man, just getting a tour bus is so expensive, and even when there's been an opportunity, it doesn't make financial sense, and we'd rather spend that money on like better music videos and things like that than a bus. I mean, I've only done one bus tour, and it was in Europe. It's the only time I've done a bus tour. It's just hard to go back when you had a bus. So I'm not opposed. I would way rather have a bus and my own bunk, my own space. We're working on building out some bunks in the van, but right now we have it set up so 3 of us are in the we've removed one of the bench seats. 3 of us sleep in the back. 2 are on the benches because they're the smallest.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but it works. It saves us money, and we can invest it more into more important things.
Yeah, the music and the art, rather than the travel. Yeah, because it's the travel is, you want to be comfortable, but it's not the end game. The end game is the product on stage and what you put out to your public, right? So
yeah, the only thing I would say is that if you're traveling in a way where you're really uncomfortable and you're sleeping poorly, that's going to affect your performance too. So balancing that as well. So we've had to balance that sometimes where we had one night not when was it, last spring, we were on tour, and I think it was like 2 or 3 days in, and it was pouring rain, and it turns out that the van was not waterproof, and everything in the back got soaked, and we had very little sleep. People were cold and wet, and it was really, really bad. Everyone was just grumpy and upset the next day, and we had like 2 hours of sleep, and I somehow managed to play an okay show. I was surprised. Maybe it's because I was tired. I just couldn't be like nervous. I was just like, whatever.
Muscle memory, autopilot.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things you have to kind of weigh. Like, make sure you're comfortable enough that you're not going to affect your performance.
Yeah.
Road dogging,
Road dog. Nice.
Yeah. Pro tips.
Yeah. We'll come back to that, because in a previous episode we talked about maintaining a healthy lifestyle on the road, like with food and stuff like that. I guess we'll just get into it now. We'll get to the other drummer later. So how do you, when you're on the road and that, in the van, in those situations, what is your, I don't want to say what's your diet like, but as far as the healthy aspect of being on the road,
well,
Rich is all about that healthy lifestyle.
Kill me. Rich will kill me because he's very healthy, very, conscious of that. I need to do better. So here's what I've done, hoping that I'm going to actually follow through with it, but I haven't, but I would like to. I bought a portable blender, and it's it's a USB powered blender. And so I was like, oh, I can make smoothies. I can make if you decided you're going to go to the gym and you want to have a protein shake or whatever. And it's awesome. You don't need to plug it into anything. It just charges, and it's good for a couple of blends. So that was really cool. I found that on Amazon. That was awesome. I only used it a couple times, and then I got lazy. I'm sorry, but highly recommend for anyone who's trying to stay healthy and make your own shakes. Anyway, so we always end up at a Planet Fitness pretty much every single day. We go there to take showers. Sometimes people will work out. I have not been one of those people, but I just recently, because we don't have any immediate shows coming up, and because the last time I tried to get into a workout routine, I went too hard and I hurt myself, and I went from 0 to 100. I tend to do that. So I've just started getting back into it. I'm going very slowly and gradually, and I think this time it's gonna be better. But
yeah, that's hard to eat well, especially if you're on the go the whole day. I applaud you on the bringing the blender. That's huge. I know, I always be bringing a big suitcase, and it's always so full, and I'm kind of jealous because some of the other guys always seem to be able to pack so light, and my stuff is just full of elastic workout bands, a blender, some foam roller, something protein powder. It's just the obnoxious amount of stuff that I'm bringing. But I did find that the blender is a huge thing. If you could just get some greens every day, even just that, it'd be just do some kind of green smoothie, protein in it, sure, but that'd be enough. But yeah, nice work. I mean, going to the Planet Fitness, just do like a quick 10 minutes, 20-minute thing. Doesn't have to be
Doesn't have to
doesn't
be a
have to be
lot.
but
Yeah.
the other thing I was gonna say, I don't know if you eat meat or chicken, but like getting a rotisserie, you don't.
No.
No,
But the
right.
rotisserie chicken is always a good
It's
tour
a good
staple
grocery,
for
good
people.
drink. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you're a vegetarian or vegan or
Yes,
vegetarian?
vegetarian.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that must be challenging on the road then, in order to get all the proteins and stuff that you need.
Vegetarian, being vegetarian has been no problem.
No.
I have a lot more respect for someone who's vegan and lives the tour life, because I think that's tough. It's really tough when you can't, you can't cook for yourself every day, or you've got to rely on the promoter to give you what's on your rider, and you have to trust that it's going to be vegan, and you might not have as many options as everyone else. So I definitely have, I have a lot of respect for that. But I find that being vegetarian has not really been difficult. I think it's a much more difficult lifestyle, I think, if you're vegan.
Yeah, for sure.
Raw vegan.
Raw vegan.
Especially if you're raw vegan, especially.
Yeah.
I bring my dehydrator on the road with me, so I don't.
I was like, that's why everything's so heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our second drummer pick, because time is flying by.
It sure is.
Just a side note, just for the powers that be at Los Cabos, this episode might run a little longer. Just so you know, just warning you. Anyway, so second drummers. So Rich took one of my drummers, so now I have to like come up with one off the top of my head. So, okay, I got him. That was easy. Vinnie Paul, and I don't have to say anything else. I literally don't have to say anything else. Vinnie Paul, done. Next.
VP.
People understand. They know.
Anyway, the power, the groove, everything. Just VP. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Who's up? Sam?
I'll go next. Sure. So I also, again, someone who I think is underrated outside of the metal drumming community, and that's Luana D'Ameto, who is a drummer for Crypta. She used to drum for Nervosa, which is also a band that I've toured with in Europe and the US. What am I saying? Part of the reason that it's really awesome seeing how far she's come over the last couple of years, because her blasts are insane. Like the power that she has in her hands and the speed, and she does a lot of like very fast drum rolls, and she'll do a lot of like linear tom fills. Just the speed and the power is just nuts. It's nuts. Check out her stuff, like check out Crypta, but her hands are nuts. Really, really good. And the blasting is just like top notch. Really, really good. So that's, again, Luana D'Ameto from Crypta. Highly, highly underrated, in my opinion.
Okay. Definitely checking that out. 100%. All right. Who do you got next, Rich? Let's see if you take my other guy. Come on.
Probably not. My second pick is I wouldn't really say underrated. Mine are all pretty top shelf. Mickey D, who I saw formerly play with Motorhead, and I'll tell you why I picked him. One, ton of power.
Mickey D.
I mean, he's amazing. But my favorite part of the show was there's a drum solo near the end of the show, and he plays a drum solo while throwing sticks in the air. So it looks like it's raining sticks. And I mean, it's an obnoxious amount of sticks, like 100 sticks. And I thought that, it was a slow clap. So, I mean, aside from like the drumming, it's the showmanship that also did it for me.
I love seeing drummers get really creative, and they do something either unexpected, impressive, ridiculous, whatever it is. Like for me, it's the surprise, like element of surprise. If you do something unexpected, it's like Eric Improda, and he's one of those drummers. I mean, I should have had him on my list. Wait, Eric should be on my list too. I need to add one more.
2.5.
2.5. Eric Improda. Because not only is he an amazing drummer, he's super creative. He finds all these different ways to integrate different like sounds, and he'll integrate samples, and he'll do things with like, he'll do percussive things that you didn't expect. But his showmanship is amazing. So he's done, I mean, you can see videos of him like literally hanging from the rafters. He jumps up on his throne. He's like doing backflips onto his and off his drum kit. Like it's just he's so fun to watch. So not only is he an incredible player and he's super creative, but the showmanship is like next level.
Nice.
Rad.
Yeah.
Check him out.
I was thinking, yeah. I've been thinking about like if I could make it cool to be like Charlie Watts, like, but could I pull off a Charlie Watts vibe while playing with Danko? I was thinking about this today. You know, because like Danko, like, you know, there's like the classic, just whatever, I'm into it and stuff. But could I do it, and would it look cool if I just look like
stone face? Just
just didn't.
I think that would look kind of rad, actually.
It might, or does it? Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't want it to be boring.
No,
he's like so.
But would you also
cool.
pull off with a hi-hat
So
when you
cool.
hit your snare drum? Like, would you do that whole thing?
That'd be tougher if I had to incorporate that as well.
Yeah.
Anyway. I think Danko would probably turn around and look at you and be like, "What's wrong?"
I think you're totally right.
You'd be like, "You're usually like, yeah, and then like, why are you look so stoic?"
Yeah, it would throw the whole thing off.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the stoic one.
Train wreck for sure.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with Los Cabos Drumsticks? Like what was your origin into the brand?
Ooh, my Los Cabos origin story. All right. Well, you see, there were all these mutants.
Right.
And
they touched the ooze or no, that's Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. We had this school, it was a special school, and anyway,
gifted
full of mutants. Anyway, I've already forgotten the question. What my origin story was Los Cabos. I got distracted. Okay. So I first tried Los Cabos. I feel like I was either at a music store or I was like at somebody else's jam space. And it was, do you guys know Chris Warunki? He's a Vancouver drummer. He used to play in a band called Omnisite. I think he's been a session guy as well. But he showed me, I can't remember if I think he's currently a Los Cabos artist, but he's the one who showed them to me. And at the time, I was playing Vic Firth. I don't remember I can't remember what the model is, but
we'll bleep that out anyway.
Yeah, you bleep. Yeah, the brand that shall not be named.
That's like beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, I used to play. But anyway, I always found that those sticks had like this coating, and I really didn't like it. And it was like the one thing that it always bothered me. But I'm very brand loyal, so when I find a product that I think is like good or good enough, I'll usually stick to it. But so I had just been playing those sticks for years, and I was like, they're good enough. But I always hated the lacquer. And so Chris showed me these sticks, and he's like, "Oh, I play Los Cabos," and I was like, "Oh, these are nice. They have more of like a natural finish. They feel like just like the sticks that I'm used to, but they don't have that annoying varnish that I really didn't like." And then a couple years later, I have a friend who's a Los Cabos artist in the UK. It was Ben Turk from Glory Hammer, and he said, I was about to do some more this touring with Nervosa, and he said, "Are you interested in Los Cabos? I could put you in touch with the rep." And I was like, "Yeah, actually, those sticks are awesome." And I hadn't had a chance to play a lot more with them, and so that's how I got hooked up with Phil. And they've been nothing but awesome to me. And the products are awesome, and the people, to me, a lot of the times, it's the people that really make the company, and you can really tell how much they care about what they do and how much they care about drummers, and the whole story behind how Los Cabos started. I love too. It's just really heartwarming. It's just very, I don't know, like family business, and they were doing furniture, and it's like, well, you know, this makes sense. We'll do drumsticks. So anyway, that's my origin story.
Yeah, that's 1,000% correct about the whole family vibe. And now, are you a white hickory or a red hickory player?
I'm a red hickory player.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm playing red hickory now. I'm changing sticks. So right now I'm using the 55 AB red hickories. Because they didn't when I placed my order, they didn't have any white hickories in stock. So I was like, oh, I'll take red hickory. So I'm kind of getting a vibe for them. But I'm mainly a white hickory guy. I'm coming down from like the rock white hickory down to extra or 5B intense, and now I'm doing the 55 AB. And so far they kick ass.
It's a nice medium, such a nice medium stick. It's still got some weight to it, but it's not quite as
the taper is shorter on the 55 AB, so there's a bit more weight in the front, which I like. So yeah, I'm giving them I got a whole brick of them, so I'm giving them a run to see how, and then I'll place another order. But I know Rick is a white hickory 5B.
And I'm a red hickory 5A.
I called you Rick. Why did I call you Rick? I said Rich.
I was like, who's Rick? I
Who's
was like,
Rick?
I was like scanning my brain for like who we talked about a guy named Rick on this. Who does Rick play for?
I got something in my throat and it came out as Rick.
It's
Rick
all right.
Mox.
Ricky.
Rick Locks.
Ricky.
Rick Locks.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Hey, Ricky. I play these. Look at this. These 5B hickories. They're
There you go.
beauties.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
I have a pair back there, but I gotta get up to.
So what are you on?
What do you play?
Yeah, what model are you on?
I do the red hickory 5A intense. So they have a little bit extra length. I like the longer stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Nice.
I was always the longer stick, and then when I had a pair of regular 5Bs, 5B reds that I was kind of getting used to. So I kind of got used to the shorter stick. Now I'm kind of digging the 16, just the regular length. Because I choked up on the other sticks anyway, so it wasn't like I was getting more reach out of it. But now, being that it's shorter, I find I can get a lot more downstroke or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like bigger. I like bigger and more standard length sticks for more just like backbeat playing, I think. But when it comes to like playing fills and doing things on cymbals, like I like the extra reach. Yeah. And I just like the way that they're weighted. I don't know, they just feel really like even to me. It just, I feel more like it's an extension of my arm.
Yeah. So you also judge, we mentioned that for the Hit Like a Girl.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with them to become a judge? And follow up to that is, since there have been, and maybe it's not just because of that contest, but there's been a lot more women that are kind of coming up in the scene. How do you feel? Because I would think that what you're doing and the bands that you're playing with, the style of music, your involvement with Drumeo, that you would be one of the top influencers with women in getting into drumming. So how do you feel about, being an influence towards young women and that involvement with the Hit Like a Girl program?
Yeah, I'll start with that first. I feel guilty because I don't put out as much content as I would like to. And so that's the tough part, where I'm not my full-time job isn't as a drummer. I do have a marketing job. So, it's hard to balance like just practicing and getting songs ready and doing stuff with the band. And anyway, so I wish I could put out more content, because I think that it is important to be visible to other girls and women, and just generally, I think minorities in the drumming community, just so that people can see, hey, it's not just these dudes or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with, being a dude and a drummer. It's just more what people expect. So I think it's really cool to be able to feel like I have some sort of influence in that sphere, because I don't know, it's just not much makes me happier than having like a little girl or even like a teenager or an adult or whoever come up to me and say that I've inspired them, or that they're starting to learn drums and they're looking for guidance. And I'm just extra excited when it's other girls and women, because there just weren't a lot when I was growing up, and I didn't have a lot of people to look up to. And so I'm definitely largely influenced by male drummers, and that's cool. But it's just nice to see people that look like you, and maybe go through the world like you and things like that. So yeah, it feels really, really good. And I feel very fortunate and privileged to be in a position to be able to be visible for girls and women to feel comfortable moving forward and putting themselves out there, and reassuring people that it's what you want to do. If this is what you love and this is what you're passionate about, don't let anybody stop you. There's no reason for that. And I think that brands and bands and the media and just the community in general, I think, has generally become more accepting of female drummers and trying to highlight more. And there's a fine line between tokenizing someone and
Yeah.
you know, giving them something because they're a girl versus highlighting them and saying, we want to make sure that you're aware that there's also these girls doing it. So there's a fine line between those. But for me, it's just, yeah, it's important. The Hit Like a Girl contest is a great way to highlight girls who are playing drums. And so I got involved as a judge. I can't remember who I was referred by, but someone referred me. They were looking for more judges. This is a couple of years ago, and they reached out to me. The organizer of the competition reached out to me, and so I've been doing it for the last couple of years. I've judged. I love judging youth categories, and I've always said that to them. I said, please give me a youth category. So the first couple of years, I think I did. I judged the teens, and the last couple of years I judged the under 13s, and it is just so cool seeing the next generation of drummers, and they're so, oh my God, and they're so good and they're so passionate and they're so excited. It could be a kid that's been drumming for like 6 months, and you know, maybe she's just, you know, she only really knows a couple of things, but she's so happy and so excited and she's just loving it. And being able to witness the next generation of drummers is so cool.
Yeah. It's like that that one that went viral and ended up playing with the Foo Fighters at Nandi Bushell. Like she's just a
I love her.
powerhouse, like, and great drummer. You know, but just I think what people got drawn to her wasn't so much her ability behind the kit, because like we've seen the progression. Like she wasn't, you know, an amazing drummer at the start, but it's just her passion and the energy and the intensity in what she was doing had people grab on, and as time has gone, she's developed and she's become a really, really good drummer. Like she could be touring with, you know, she could have been the drummer for the Foo Fighters, like, you know. So yeah, seeing the young girls and you know, all the minorities, because representation matters so much, you know, and to be representative of that, I think is awesome. And like to circle back to Los Cabos, when you were talking about, you know, they offer the breast cancer awareness sticks, you know, every year, you know, to raise money, and all of the monies go towards the research, you know, which I think is super important. And I think more companies should do that, especially in the drumming community. And then there's also, I'm blanking on her name now, but the one that runs the Breast Cancer Can Stick It.
Name starts with an A.
April.
I just saw her now.
Yeah. You know, and her story is just an amazing story. Anyone that, you know, well, maybe I'll link that in the description too somewhere, you know, just to check her out. I mean, we'll probably try to have to get her on the podcast at some point too. But yeah, like the representation matters, and you know, you want to stick with a company that takes those things to heart and you know, is genuine behind the intentions.
Yeah. And to me, that's important, that it's not about tokenizing. It's not just like, oh, we know we're going to make more money doing this. I mean, yeah, it's a smart marketing decision because 50% of the population is girls or it's women. But it's also just, you know, you want to show that and mean it, that you're accepting of everybody, that anyone can be a drummer, that everyone's welcome in the drumming community. And it's just, generally, I've felt very accepted in the drumming community, and there's always exceptions. But anytime that there's been someone who's just, you know, weird about girls drumming, it's very rarely someone who has like made a career out of it. It's usually someone they're upset because they haven't gotten anywhere, and usually it's because of their personality, because you can be an amazing drummer in your basement and no one wants to work with you because you're a horrible person. So, you know, there's been times where, you know, I just see the negative comments and I'm like, well, I'll go look them up, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Never mind.
I don't have to take you seriously.
This is
so
fine.
This is fine.
No response required.
No.
Do you like, I don't want to dive too deep into this, but as a woman drummer, do you find you have any issues with like people sliding into your DMs and any of that kind of crap?
Yes. Oh man. Oh God, the feet guys. It's always the feet guys. Can you send me a video of just your feet? I just want to see your feet drumming. I just want to see, can I see some pedal tutorials, and I don't trust anyone anymore. Like
No.
there have been enough of these that I no longer see the best in people when they're asking to see foot cam. Nope. To me, they all have a foot thing, and I can't trust them. So and it sucks because it makes me not want to post foot cam.
Yeah.
But I get quite a few. I have had quite a few foot messages over the years.
To have the confidence to slide into somebody's DMs like that. Like I cannot fathom. I come from a different. I'm an old man, so I come from, pre all of that. I messaging and sending pics and all that stuff. Like I come way before that, so I just don't understand the logic behind any of it.
I think there's no logic. Lack of logic.
Yeah.
I mean yeah, and I'm like there's people out there that you can pay to do that, and they'd be happy to do that for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want you to make turn my passion into something like something icky for So yeah, I get those. I just get people being like, I got a message the other day that they replied to one of my stories and they said, I would fight through a mosh pit for you. I mean, at least that's harmless. That's harmless. It's not like the feet guys, it's fine. But yeah, I'll get people in my DMs. Yeah.
I saw you play. I just want you to know, like, I could get to the stage, but I should make fun.
Yeah, no. I mean, something like that. Like I'm not offended by that. Like it's sweet, it's cute. Like I'm flattered. Like it's so yeah. I'll appreciate like a good compliment, but if people come in and they're being really weird or inappropriate, I'm like,
no.
Why? Like really? Like you could have just been like, hey, beautiful picture. I'm totally fine with that. This is not an invitation. Anyone watching this, not an invitation. I might just block you, but occasionally it might be okay. But yeah.
There's you remember you're talking to a human being, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, let's get to our next drummer pick. Let's take a 180 here. Oh,
I'll go first.
You'll go first? Okay, I'll go next.
I'll go second.
This guy's got the nicest feet of all the drummers I know.
Best feet in drums.
His best feet in drums.
Wait, hold on a second. Shoes or no shoes?
You know what?
This is a big thing with drummers is playing with shoes or without shoes.
It's true.
You know what, man? I'm not sure. It might not be. There might be no shoes, but I don't know. I can't remember. And I admit, like, it's not like
for you though. Like, do you play with shoes?
Oh, for me, I can remember that. I play with shoes.
I was wondering where that was going.
Right? I'm like,
no,
what is he talking about?
I thought you meant like my drummer is like, oh, you're gonna call me out on not like knowing.
Does he play with shoes?
Does he play with
shoes?
Yeah.
Sometimes. I used to not play, like when I was beginning. I think I played shoeless.
Really?
Because I think I just like because I didn't, I was a kid and I was learning to play drums in my house and like didn't wear shoes in the house, so I just like would go down to the drums. And then I think as I started playing outside of the house, I started putting shoes on. I think that was as simple as that for me.
All right. Yeah, I'm straight up. I can't be bare feet. I have to have at least like a pair of Chucks or a pair of Vans. Like I don't go all like super nerdy and get like the drumming shoes. But yeah, just a pair of Chucks or a pair of Vans. I have to have something on my feet. It's just weird.
That makes sense. Rich, do you have a certain type of drumming shoe that you prefer?
Well,
what is your ideal drumming footwear, my good sir?
You know what? We just like kind of our like stage clothes are just like all black. So it's not much more than a black, like, I guess like I do like kind of something close to if it's on the lighter side and like a Vans, something like a
okay, so you're not like a
but I'm not like a sneaker,
like a sneaker.
I don't
track
want
shoe.
Yeah, I don't want like I tried that before, but they just kind of feel like I don't know, there's too much. I don't want that much cushion. So I think, but not something super heavy either. Like I couldn't like wear like Blundstones or something. I've done that. I got this pair of Red Wings once, and like I don't know, like I forgot my shoes or I lost my shoes. This is years and years ago, not with Danko, but like let's play with this like pair of like new boots. They were like brand new too, so they like had like zero give, and it was an interesting show. It wasn't like I pulled it off, but anyway.
Not to brag.
Yeah. Anyway, how about you? How about you, Seth?
I'll share mine, and I'm sure all these feet guys will just screenshot this part. I'm
This
just
is
kidding.
like
we're gonna see
this
the
will be
shoe.
Oh, no, it's
this will
fine.
be the short, the reel.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
So I usually play with shoes. However, and the shoes that I play, I always wear the same shoes. And I switched a couple of years ago, the shoes that I play. So I used to drum in boots, and people are like, "How do you do it?" And I liked that they were really solid and they were like heavy and they gave me a bit of weight, and I really liked that for like full leg motion. But I switched to black Chucks. I guess it doesn't matter if they're black, but they're Chucks. So yeah, I wear Chucks 100% of the shows I play. But when I'm practicing on my electronic kit at home, which is a couple days a week, I'm too lazy to put on shoes, and so I drum in socks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of good because my practice pedals at home are just like they're just like these old eliminators. They're rusty, they're heavy, they're pretty, they're squeaky, they're not great. And then my pedals are my usual pedals, and the ones I play on my acoustic kit are the Demon drives. They're direct drive, they're smooth, they're whatever, maintained. So it's kind of cool because I get used to playing with or without footwear. I get used to playing on chain drive, rusted old pedals, and my nice ones. And so I found that it just means that if I ever had to play on somebody else's stuff, or I didn't have my shoes or whatever, like I could still play it.
Yeah,
That's smart.
I can't play the bass drum without my Yamaha FP9 pedal. Like I just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it?
No, I need that
Can't
pedal.
tell it. Okay.
It's all about the gear. It's all about the gear.
Okay, never mind. Okay, good. Yeah, I was like, I think he's being sarcastic.
I actually,
of course.
I'm kind of similar. I have like all sorts of different pedals, and yeah, and situations. Same at home, socks or bare feet. Occasionally shoes. But yeah, there's something to that, making it a little bit tougher on yourself, and then you get to the thing, and it's like, ooh, this feels nice.
It's like when you're practicing, do you practice with like a heavier stick than you would normally use on stage, or do you use the same stick all the time?
I use the same stick all the time. I used to do that. I would practice with 2Bs. This is years ago, like years and years ago, and I just found that it didn't really make a big difference for me, and it actually threw me off.
Yeah, it does.
It didn't feel the same. Yeah,
I agree. Because the heavier stick isn't necessarily going to work on your technique. Your technique is going to work on your technique, right? So yeah. that's the whole thing I was getting to with the pedal too. It's like, I mean, yes, I love my bass pedal. Like, don't get me wrong, but if I didn't have it, I'd still play the show. Like, you get through it. You got to adapt. You know, the house kit pedal's fine.
It's fine. It'll do.
Man, I don't know. I use this house pedal. I probably might have told the story before, but like we're playing like some Canadian Music Week thing. This is years ago, different band. For one, I just hate those things. I hate those showcases. I never feel as worthless and just like get off. You know, like you're just like going on there. It's so quick, and it's like you're like it's like a factory of bands. Anyway, so I was like, I had my pedal there too, and then I was like, the changeover is so quick. It's like, I'll just use this pedal or whatever. And like, I don't know if somebody like had changed the beater on it or something, but anyway, the pedal broke during the middle of a song, and like you only got like 25 minutes or whatever. So just like a loser, I'm trying to like play like the bass drum part on the floor top. It just like sucks, and like it's like either that or just nothing. But anyway, that's so don't use. I'm saying don't use the house pedal.
I would love to not use the house pedal in any situation. Yeah. Like, I mean, something could be said, and this is maybe an unpopular drummer opinion. Hey, format for the next future podcast. What's your unpopular drummer opinion?
Oh, nice. I like it.
So here's my unpopular drummer opinion. I think generally it's about the player and the technique and not the gear. However, for like super speed metal, when you're playing like super fast ankle technique, it is easier and it takes less effort to use a direct drive or certain types of pedals than others. So somebody who's used to playing like a trick pedal, and they're playing 240 BPM singles, and then you put them on like an old Demon Drive, or not an old Demon Drive, an old Iron Cobra. I think that they're going to struggle playing what they normally would, because it's really about like such fine motor movements. I think that it's going to be tough at those speeds. And I don't know, it'd be like playing 250 BPM a drum roll, like single strokes with a smaller stick, and then somebody gives you this big stick and they ask you to do the same thing. It might be tough.
Yeah.
So that's my unpopular drummer opinion. It's some rare exceptions, but
I hear it. It sounds
definitely agreeable.
Makes sense.
I would agree to that. All right, let's get to the drummer pick. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, let's go, Rich.
All right. Nicest feat in drumming.
Who is it?
Back to that.
Meshuggah?
Mario. No. Mario Duplantier.
Plantier. Agreed.
From Gojira. Got to see him play live once, and I mean, you really can tell when you're just watching someone live. It's just like the little things. Like, to me, I've seen some like so many amazing technically proficient drummers, and he had that, but also just like there was like a space and just a fluidity that was special to his playing, I thought. And it gave me a good feeling. So, and that's all I'll say about that.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Cool. I'll definitely be checking him out.
Yeah.
I love that's what I like about these drummer picks, is like there's always somebody that you're sleeping on, or you forgot about, or you haven't heard of. So yeah.
I'll go next, just because the reason I've chosen this person is a similar reason as Mario, and this is someone I've been telling everyone to pay attention to for years and years and years, and he always ends up on like my lists of underrated, like, you got to check this guy out. And I mean, he's a known drummer in the drummer world, and but I still think he should be even bigger, and that's Anoop Sastry. And so some of the, he's played with like Monuments, Intervals. He kind of comes from more of like the gent kind of scene. He's been doing a lot of like virtual instruments lately, doing like grooves and samples and stuff like that. He was also on Seth Meyers really recently, like a couple weeks ago, I think, and that's just super cool for him. But super, like, just great guy as well. But his playing, I feel like his grooves, he has such a good sense of pocket, and a lot of drummers that play in that style can't always play the slower stuff and really get in the pocket and the note spacing. It's just so tasty. Like, it just feels good. There's just certain drummers that just make you feel good, like right where the notes fall, and listening to his playing, it feels just good, and it almost relaxes you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anoop Sastry, 100%.
Cool.
Awesome.
Sorry. Is Seth Meyers having like a rotating cast of drummers?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's always a sit-in drummer with the 8G band. It's awesome because it's always somebody totally different style. Like, he had Nate Smith, he had Joey Castillo. He gets a mention in every podcast.
Your boy.
Just deal with it.
He does seem to get a mention.
I got to throw him in there somehow.
Tanner Wayne was.
Tanner's so good too.
Yeah. There's so many good drummers that go on that. Anyway, I didn't get the invite. So
good to know.
So my last pick might be, I don't know. I guess the band is known, particularly internationally, and the fact that they're big in North America still, I think, blows everybody away and baffles their mind. And that band is a little band by the name of Rammstein.
Yeah.
So Mr. Christoph Doom Schneider, he's like the perfectly built watch. Like, he's always so solid, precise, perfect part. Everything he does, it just fits the music. And the thing that I like about him is no other drummer in the genre that I've heard anyway plays a solid 4 on the floor. Like, just always. It's just it's always there. So you're always getting that bottom end, that just kicks you right in the teeth. And then the stage show. I mean, he makes it look effortless. He's barely yeah, he's just so fluid with what he does as well. Yeah, that's my last pick. Just yeah.
I think Christoph is an underrated drummer. And obviously Rammstein is a huge band. Most people know who they are, but as a drummer, because they aren't like a drummy band. They don't have like all these drummy parts, but he is so precise.
Yep.
And it's perfect. It's exactly what a band like that needs. And I think he's underrated as a drummer.
Yeah, he was no, you go ahead.
No, please.
Do, sir.
Has anyone seen them live?
No.
Yeah.
I missed an opportunity. I had an opportunity, and it was a day off, and I was tired. And anyway, I regret not going. But
yeah,
it's awesome. I saw them it was like 10 years ago though, and I know that the show is now pretty much too big to play in
oh yeah,
most arenas.
They're not playing.
Pyro and
they're always outdoors.
Yeah. But I saw them in Vancouver at Rogers Arena, I think it was, and even then, it was just nuts. It was probably one of the craziest shows I'd seen, and I would love to see them now.
Yeah,
I heard that I don't know the band that well, but they have a song Diesel, I guess, a song called Diesel, and they burned diesel or something. I don't know. The place just started smelling like diesel for the song Diesel, which I think is an extra hilarious. Who does Sense?
It's like a 4D movie.
It's who does that? Who does that?
It's a Disney production, is what that is.
Kind of dated. I don't know if it's real. It must be some kind of, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's kind of controversial, just filling up an arena with diesel. But I don't know much about Rammstein, but I wouldn't put it past them, I guess. So.
Yeah, well, you don't have to worry. I mean, yeah, the flames and the pyro, you're gonna smell some flammable liquids.
Can I just say that as someone who listens to mostly metal and mostly bands that have kind of dark lyrics, I could not imagine bands, singing about the stuff that they usually sing about, having those scents. I don't want those scents.
No.
I don't want to smell those things. They're talking about destruction and devastation and death and whatever, and it's just oh god, it's just why does it smell like corpses? Huh?
Yeah,
it smells like corpses.
Why is that
kind of our thing?
Yeah, why does it smell like copper? It has this weird
metal
taste in my mouth.
Oh, it's my own blood.
No, it's right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so we've blown the budget on time. This was amazing. Thank you so much again for agreeing to be on the podcast. This was a real treat.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have all your social stuff for you and for the band. But for those listening that might be too lazy to click on a link, well, where can people find you?
So I'm Sam Landa. You can find me at Slanda Drums on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but I have not been posting lately. I mean, Facebook, Twitter. I'm probably the most active on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, I'm Slanda Drums on Instagram and Sam Divides on Twitter. And then the band is Conquer Divide, and you can find us on all streaming platforms. And we're all over Instagram, and we're on TikTok, and we make some really ridiculous TikToks. So you should probably follow us there.
Yeah. And you have a tour coming up in the fall, in September.
Yeah. Yes, with Electric Callboy. And that's a US tour. We have 2 Canadian dates, and that is August 25th to September 15th. So we're really excited for that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Conquer Divide is an amazing band. Check them out on YouTube and all the socials, because probably one of the hottest bands I'd say in the genre going right now. Just phenomenal stuff. I've really enjoyed it. I'm Dre, and that's Rich. There it is. That's Rich. Where can people find you, Rich?
On Rich Knox Drums, or at you could go to @Fit Drummers as well, and Instagram. You can also, I'm on Facebook as well. I don't do the TikTok, and I don't really do the Twitter either, but my phone number is
beep beep beep.
beep beep beep. No, that's it.
Yeah.
Rich Knox Drums. That's I use Instagram more than anything.
Yeah. And I'm Dre _SGS, and then you can do all the Los Cabos Drumsticks on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Click on the links. And that was the episode.
Sweet. Thanks so much, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.